Chosen ones, God knows you're tired, but this message is for you, a word straight from the heavens to comfort your weary soul. You've carried heavy burdens, faced storms that seemed endless, and walked paths where no one else dared to tread. But hear this: God sees every step you've taken, every tear you've shed, and every moment you've held on when giving up felt easier. This is not just another message. It's a divine whisper to remind you that your strength is not unnoticed, and your breakthrough is closer than you think. You've been running a race that feels like it has no finish line. The weight of the world, your responsibilities, your struggles, your unspoken pain has pressed down on you. But God is saying, I know, my child. I see your heart. Your tiredness is not a sign of weakness. It's proof of your resilience. You've kept going when others would have stopped. You've held faith when doubt was screaming louder. That's why this moment, this video, is no coincidence. It's a sacred pause, a chance to let God's comfort wash over you like a river soothing a parched land. Right now, I need you to do something simple but powerful. Pause, take a deep breath, and comment 777 below. That number carries divine energy, completion, perfection, God's promise fulfilled. By typing 777, you're declaring to the universe that you're ready to receive this comfort, to let God's peace flood your soul. Don't skip this step, chosen one. It's a small act of faith that signals you're open to what's coming. Think about the moments when you felt like you couldn't go on. Maybe it was a night when sleep wouldn't come, or a day when every door seemed slammed shut. You're still here. That's not by chance. God has been your anchor, even when you couldn't feel His presence. The Bible says in Matthew 11:28, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." That's not just a verse. It's a promise for you right now. God is inviting you to lay down your exhaustion and let Him carry it. Your weariness has a purpose. Every struggle has been shaping you, not breaking you. Like a potter molding clay, God is crafting something extraordinary out of your life. The cracks you see in yourself, they're where His light shines through. Your tiredness is a testament to the battles you fought and won, even when you didn't realize you were winning. You're not just surviving, you're being prepared for a season of overflow. Let's talk about what's waiting for you. God isn't just offering rest, He's promising renewal. Picture a tree in winter, bare and battered by the cold. It looks lifeless, but beneath the surface, it's gathering strength for spring. That's you, chosen one. Your winter is ending, and God is about to bring a season of vibrant growth. Your energy will return, your heart will lighten, and your path will become clear. This is the comfort He's speaking to you today. If this message is speaking to your soul, hit that like button and subscribe to join thousands of chosen ones who are walking this journey together. Your support keeps this light shining, reaching others who need to hear God's voice. And don't forget, comment 777 to claim this moment, to say, I'm ready for your comfort, God. You might be wondering, why me? Why am I so tired when I'm supposed to be chosen? Here's the truth. Being chosen doesn't mean an easy road. It means a divine purpose. Look at David in the Bible. Before he was king, he was a shepherd boy facing lions, bears, and a giant named Goliath. He was tired, hunted, and betrayed. Yet God called him a man after His own heart. Your exhaustion is not a sign you're failing, it's proof you're fighting for something bigger. God's comfort isn't just a pat on the back, it's a transformation. He's not asking you to keep carrying the weight alone. Psalm 55:22 says, "Cast your cares on the Lord, and He will sustain you." Imagine handing over every worry, every fear, every ounce of tiredness to God. He's strong enough to hold it all. What's left is a lightness in your spirit, a clarity in your mind, and a strength you didn't know you had. Right now, type 777 inches the comments again. Let it be your declaration that you're casting your burdens onto God. This isn't just a number, it's a signal to the heavens that you're ready to let go and let God work. You're not alone in this, chosen one. Thousands are typing 777 with you, standing in faith together. Your tiredness has been a teacher. It's shown you what you're made of. Think of a marathon runner. Every step feels impossible near the end, but crossing the finish line makes every ache worth it. Your finish line is coming, and it's not just rest. It's victory. God is preparing you for a chapter where your strength is renewed, where your dreams take root, and where your purpose shines brighter than ever. You've been carrying more than most could handle. Maybe it's family pressures, financial struggles, or a heart heavy with unspoken grief. God sees it all. He knows the nights you've prayed in silence, the days you've smiled through pain. He's not distant, he's right there, whispering, "I've got you." His comfort is like a warm blanket on a cold night, wrapping you in peace that doesn't depend on circumstances. Some of you are thinking, "I've been tired for so long. Can this really change?" Yes, it can. Look at Elijah, the prophet who ran from danger, exhausted and ready to give up. God didn't lecture him. He sent an angel with food and rest, then gave him a new mission. God is doing the same for you. He's feeding your spirit, restoring your strength, and setting you up for a purpose bigger than you can imagine. One more time, comment 777 below. Let it seal this truth in your heart. God's comfort is yours, and it's already working in you. This is your moment to receive it fully, to let His peace replace your weariness. Now, let's talk about what happens when you embrace this comfort. It's not just about feeling better, it's about stepping into a new version of yourself. God's promise isn't temporary relief. It's a complete shift. Your tiredness has been like a cocoon, and you're about to emerge as something radiant. Isaiah 40:31 says, "Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles." That's not poetry, it's your future. You're not meant to stay tired. God's plan for you is vibrant, alive, full of purpose. Think of a riverbed, dry for years, suddenly filled with rushing water. That's what's coming to you: energy, clarity, and joy that overflow. You'll look back at this moment and see it as the turning point, the moment God's comfort began to change everything. Your life is a testimony. People around you, friends, family, even strangers are watching. They see your strength, even when you feel weak. They notice how you keep going, how you hold on to faith. Your journey through tiredness is showing them what it means to trust God. You're not just carrying your own burdens, you're lighting the way for others. If this message is lifting your spirit, hit that like button and subscribe to join a community of chosen ones who are finding their strength in God. Your presence here matters, and together we're shining a light that can't be dimmed. Sometimes tiredness feels like a punishment, but it's not. It's preparation. God is using this season to teach you resilience, to show you the depth of your faith. Think of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, weary and burdened, yet choosing to trust God's plan. Your struggles are shaping you into someone who can carry divine purpose with unshakable strength. God's comfort is active. It's not just a feeling, it's a force. It's the strength to forgive when you've been hurt, to love when you've been betrayed, to keep going when the world tells you to stop. This comfort is God's hand on your shoulder, saying, "You're stronger than you know, and I'm with you." Your tiredness has a deadline. It's not forever. God is already working behind the scenes, aligning opportunities, opening doors, and preparing blessings you can't yet see. Like Joseph, who went from a pit to a palace, your journey through exhaustion is leading to a place of influence and abundance. You're not alone in feeling tired. Thousands of chosen ones are watching this, nodding, feeling the same weight. But you're also not alone in receiving God's comfort. His promise is for every one of you. He's knitting your stories together, creating a tapestry of faith that will inspire generations. What does God's comfort look like? It's the moment you wake up and feel lighter, like a burden has lifted without explanation. It's the unexpected kindness from a stranger that reminds you you're seen. It's the clarity that comes when you least expect it, showing you the next step. These are God's fingerprints, touching your life in ways that restore you. Your tiredness has been a battle, but it's one you're winning. Every day you choose to keep going, you're defeating doubt, fear, and despair. God is proud of you, chosen one. He sees your heart, and He's preparing a reward that will make every struggle worth it. Sometimes, the world makes you feel like your tiredness is your fault, like you should be stronger. But God says otherwise. He says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." 2 Corinthians 12-9. Your tiredness is where God's strength shines brightest. You're not failing, you're glowing with His power. You're on the edge of something new. God's comfort is not just about easing your pain. It's about launching you into a season of purpose. Picture a seed breaking through the soil after a long winter. That's you, chosen one, ready to grow, to bloom, to show the world what God can do with a weary heart that trusts Him. Your life is a story of overcoming. Every moment of tiredness, every challenge, is a chapter in a book God is writing. And this chapter, the one where you're tired but still standing, is leading to a climax of joy, strength, and victory. You're not just surviving, you're becoming a living testament to God's faithfulness. God knows you're tired, but He also knows you're ready. Ready for the next step, ready for the blessings, ready for the purpose He's been preparing you for. Your weariness is not the end, it's the doorway to a new beginning. Step through it with faith, knowing God is holding the door open. You've carried so much, but you don't have to carry it alone anymore. God is saying, "Let me take it from here." His comfort is like a river, washing away the weight and leaving you refreshed. You're not just chosen, you're cherished, seen, and loved beyond measure. This message is for you, chosen one. God sees your tiredness, but He also sees your strength. He's turning your exhaustion into energy, your pain into purpose. You're not just going to make it, you're going to soar. Keep holding on, because God's comfort is already working in you, and it's about to change everything. Your tiredness has been a training ground. Like a soldier preparing for battle, every struggle has built your endurance. God hasn't left you in the wilderness. He's been strengthening you for the promised land. Your breakthrough is coming, and it's going to be bigger than you can imagine. God's comfort is personal. It's not a one-size-fits-all promise, it's tailored to you. He knows your unique struggles, your specific pain, and He's crafting a restoration that fits your heart perfectly. Trust that His plan for you is as individual as your fingerprint. You might feel like you're at the end of your rope, but God is tying a knot and holding you steady. His comfort is not just about rest, it's about empowerment. You're about to step into a season where you'll not only survive, but thrive, shining with a light that draws others to God. Every step you've taken through tiredness has been a step toward destiny. You're not wandering, you're being led. God's comfort is the compass, guiding you to a future where your burdens are light and your joy is full. Keep walking, chosen one, because you're almost there. Your tiredness is not a sign of defeat, it's a badge of honor. It shows you've fought battles most will never understand. God is honoring your perseverance with a comfort that will renew you from the inside out. You're not just chosen, you're unstoppable. God's comfort is like a sunrise after a long night. It's breaking through your darkness, bringing warmth and hope. You're not just going to feel better, you're going to feel alive, radiant, and ready for what's next. Hold fast, because your dawn is here. You've been tired, but you've never been alone. God has been with you every step, catching every tear, guiding every decision. His comfort is your foundation, and from it, you'll build a life of purpose, joy, and unshakable faith. Your weariness has a purpose, chosen one. It's been forging you into someone who can carry God's light in a way that changes the world. You're not just surviving, you're becoming a beacon, a testimony, a force of divine love and strength. God knows you're tired, but He also knows you're ready for what's next. His comfort is not the end of your story, it's the beginning of a chapter where you rise, shine, and walk in the fullness of His plan. You're not just chosen, you're destined for greatness. This is your moment, chosen one. God's comfort is here, wrapping you in peace, lifting your burdens, and setting you free. You're not just tired, you're on the verge of a transformation that will leave the world in awe. Keep going, because God is with you, and your victory is certain. You've been carrying a weight that feels heavier with each step, chosen one. But God's comfort is like a wind at your back, pushing you forward when you thought you couldn't go on. Your tiredness isn't just physical, it's the strain of holding on to hope in a world that often feels hopeless. Yet, here you are, still standing, still believing. That's not ordinary strength, that's divine endurance, a fire in your soul that refuses to go out. Think of a lighthouse standing firm against crashing waves. The storm rages, but the light never falters. That's you right now. Your tiredness is real, but so is God's promise to sustain you. He's not asking you to ignore your exhaustion. He's asking you to trust Him to carry you through it. Psalm 46:1 says, God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. His comfort is your shelter, steadying you when the waves hit hardest. Your journey hasn't been easy because it's not meant to be. God chose you for a path that forges greatness, not comfort. Like a diamond formed under pressure, your struggles are creating something unbreakable in you. Every moment of weariness is polishing you, making you shine brighter. God's comfort doesn't erase the pressure. It transforms it into purpose, turning your pain into a gem that reflects His glory. You're not alone in this. Others might see your tiredness and think you're weak, but God sees a warrior. Look at Ruth, who worked tirelessly in the fields, a stranger in a strange land, yet never lost faith. Her exhaustion led her to Boaz, to provision, to a legacy that changed history. Your tiredness is leading you somewhere too, a place of divine favor, where God's comfort turns your labor into lasting impact. Some days, you wonder if you're enough. You've given so much, poured out your heart, and still feel stretched thin. But God's comfort whispers, you are more than enough. He's not measuring you by what you've done, but by who you are, His chosen, His beloved. Your tiredness is not a failure. It's a sign you've been pouring out love, faith, and strength in a world that desperately needs it. God's comfort is like a river cutting through a desert. It doesn't just quench your thirst, it reshapes the landscape of your life. Where you saw barrenness, new growth is coming. Your tiredness is giving way to a season where you'll walk with renewed purpose, where every step feels lighter because God is clearing the path ahead. You've been fighting battles no one else sees. Maybe it's the battle to keep believing when nothing seems to change, or the fight to stay kind when the world feels cruel. God knows every silent struggle, and His comfort is personal, tailored to your wounds. Like a physician tending to a specific injury, He's healing the parts of you that hurt the most, restoring you with precision and care. Your tiredness has taught you empathy. You understand others' pain because you've felt it deeply. This is a gift, chosen one. Your heart, softened by struggle, is a vessel for God's love to flow through. When you comfort others, you're not just helping them, you're reflecting God's comfort, becoming a living testament to His promise in 2 Corinthians 1-4, to comfort us so we can comfort others. The world might tell you to push through your tiredness alone, to tough it out. But God says, lean on me. His comfort is not a call to ignore your limits, but an invitation to find strength beyond them. Picture a weary traveler finding an oasis, not just water, but shade, rest, and provision. That's what God is offering you now, a place to be refreshed, to be made whole. You've been running on empty, but God's comfort is your fuel. It's not about erasing your tiredness overnight. It's about filling you with enough strength for the next step. Think of the Israelites in the desert, tired and thirsty, yet God provided manna and water from a rock. He's providing for you too, in ways that might seem small now but are building towards something miraculous. Your tiredness is a sign you've been faithful. You've kept showing up, kept praying, kept trusting, even when it felt pointless. God sees that loyalty. His comfort is like a parent's embrace after a long day. It doesn't undo the work, but it makes it worth it. You're not just chosen, you're honored by a God who values your perseverance. Sometimes tiredness feels like a fog, clouding your vision, but God's comfort is clearing the air. He's giving you clarity to see the purpose behind your struggles. Like a painter stepping back to see the whole canvas, you're about to see how every moment of weariness fits into a masterpiece God is creating with your life. You've been stretched, but you haven't broken. That's because God's comfort is your foundation, holding you steady when everything else shakes. He's not just patching you up, He's rebuilding you stronger, wiser, more radiant. Isaiah 61:3 speaks of a garland of beauty instead of ashes. That's your promise. Your tiredness is turning into something beautiful. Your struggles have given you a unique voice. When you speak, people listen because your words carry the weight of someone who's walked through fire and kept going. God's comfort is amplifying that voice, making you a beacon for others who are tired too. Your story isn't just yours, it's a light for the world. God knows you're tired, but He also knows you're ready to receive more than you've lost. His comfort is like a tide, washing away the old and bringing in the new. You're not just going to recover, you're going to rise, with a strength that surprises even you, carrying a purpose that changes everything. You've been in the furnace, but you're coming out refined. Your tiredness has burned away what doesn't belong: doubt, fear, hesitation. God's comfort is the cool water after the fire, soothing you and preparing you for a season of growth. You're not just chosen, you're being shaped into a vessel of His glory. The world might see your tiredness as weakness, but God sees it as a canvas for His strength. Every moment you've felt stretched thin is a moment He's been painting His power onto your life. His comfort is the brushstroke that completes the picture, revealing a masterpiece of resilience and faith. You've been carrying a load that wasn't meant to break you, but to build you. God's comfort is like a carpenter's hands, turning raw wood into something strong and beautiful. Your tiredness is the raw material, and He's crafting you into someone who can carry His purpose with unshakable confidence. Your heart might feel heavy, but God's comfort is lifting it. He's not asking you to pretend you're not tired. He's asking you to trust that He's stronger than your weariness. Like a shepherd carrying a lamb, He's holding you close, guiding you to green pastures where your soul can rest. You've been walking a lonely road, but God's comfort is your companion. He's been with you in every quiet moment, every tearful prayer. His presence is like a friend who doesn't need words, just being there is enough. You're not alone, chosen one, and you never will be. Your tiredness has made you stronger than you realize. Every time you've pushed through, you've built muscles of faith, endurance, and hope. God's comfort is like a coach, cheering you on, reminding you that you're not just running, you're winning, and the finish line is closer than you think. God's comfort doesn't just soothe, it empowers. It's the spark that reignites your passion, the wind that lifts your wings. You're not meant to stay grounded by tiredness. You're meant to soar, to show the world what happens when a chosen one trusts in God's strength. You've been tested, but you've passed. Your tiredness is proof you've been in the fight, standing firm when others would have fallen. God's comfort is your reward, a promise that you're not just surviving, you're being prepared for a victory that will echo through eternity. Your life is a testament to God's faithfulness. Every moment of tiredness is a chapter in a story of triumph. His comfort is the pen writing the next pages, where you rise above your struggles and step into a purpose that lights up the world. God knows you're tired, but He also knows you're ready for what's next. His comfort is like a key, unlocking doors you didn't even see. You're not just walking through weariness, you're walking into a future where your strength, your faith, and your purpose shine brighter than ever. Your tiredness has been a silent prayer, chosen one, a cry of your heart that God has heard. Every moment you've felt stretched beyond your limits, He's been listening, collecting your struggles like precious stones. His comfort is not just a response, it's a promise that your efforts have not been in vain. You're not just enduring, you're being sculpted into someone who carries divine strength in a world that desperately needs it. Picture a seed buried deep in the earth, surrounded by darkness, pressed by the weight of the soil. It doesn't fight the pressure, it uses it to grow. That's you right now. Your tiredness is the soil, and God's comfort is the sunlight breaking through, calling you upward. He's not asking you to stay buried. He's urging you to rise, to become the mighty oak you were always meant to be. You've been walking through a season of shadows, but God's comfort is like a lantern, lighting your path one step at a time. You don't need to see the whole road, just enough to keep moving. Psalm 119:105 says, "Your word is a lamp for my feet, a light on my path." His comfort is that light, guiding you through the fog of exhaustion to a place of clarity and purpose. Your weariness has built a bridge to others. Because you've known tiredness, you can see it in their eyes, friends, strangers, even those who hide it well. God's comfort is turning your pain into a gift, making you a haven for those who feel alone in their struggles. You're not just chosen, you're a lighthouse for the weary, shining with His love. Sometimes, tiredness feels like a chain, holding you back from the life you dream of. But God's comfort is the key that unlocks those chains. He's not just freeing you from exhaustion, He's setting you free to chase the dreams He planted in your heart. Your tiredness is not the end. It's the starting line for a race you're destined to win. You've been pouring out your strength, giving to others even when you had little left. God sees that sacrifice. His comfort is like a well, refilling you with more than you've given. John 4:14 speaks of water that becomes a spring of water welling up to eternal life. That's His promise to you, a source of strength that never runs dry, no matter how much you give. Your tiredness has taught you patience. Waiting through long nights, pushing through hard days, you've learned to trust God's timing. His comfort is the assurance that every moment of waiting is building something eternal. Like a farmer waiting for the harvest, you're about to see the fruit of your endurance, and it will be abundant. The world might see your tiredness as a flaw, but God sees it as a canvas. He's painting a story of redemption where every struggle becomes a stroke of His grace. His comfort is the color, the light, the beauty that transforms your weariness into a work of art that glorifies Him. You've been carrying questions: why this struggle? Why this season? Why this wait? God's comfort is the answer, not in words, but in peace that settles your soul. He's not explaining the why yet. He's showing you the how, guiding you through each step with a strength that feels like it's not your own, because it's His. Your tiredness has made you a warrior of faith. Every time you've chosen to trust despite exhaustion, you've swung a sword against doubt. God's comfort is your shield, protecting you from the lies that say you're not enough. Ephesians 6:16 speaks of the shield of faith with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. That's your power, chosen one. You've been in a storm, but God's comfort is the calm at its center. It's not about stopping the wind, it's about finding peace within it. He's teaching you to stand steady, to trust even when the world shakes. Your tiredness is not a defeat. It's the training ground for a faith that moves mountains. Your heart might feel worn, but God's comfort is like a tailor, stitching it back together with threads of hope. Each moment of weariness is being woven into a tapestry of purpose, one that tells a story of resilience, faith, and divine love. You're not just mending, you're becoming something glorious. You've been running a race with weights on your ankles, but God's comfort is cutting them loose. Hebrews 12:1 urges you to throw off everything that hinders and run with perseverance. His comfort is the freedom to run lighter, faster, toward a finish line that's closer than you think. Your tiredness has given you eyes to see the invisible. You've learned to look beyond the surface, to find hope in the unseen. God's comfort is sharpening that vision, helping you see His hand in every moment, turning your struggles into stepping stones to a higher calling. You've been stretched, but you've also been strengthened. Every moment of exhaustion has built muscles of faith you didn't know you had. God's comfort is like a trainer, showing you how strong you've become, preparing you to carry a purpose that will change lives. The world might call your tiredness a burden, but God calls it a blessing. It's the soil where your faith has taken root, the crucible where your character has been forged. His comfort is the rain that nourishes those roots, promising a harvest of joy, peace, and purpose. You've been walking a narrow path, one that feels lonely at times, but God's comfort is like a friend walking beside you, reminding you that you're never truly alone. His presence is steady, His voice is clear, and His love is the fuel that keeps you moving forward. Your tiredness has been a teacher, showing you the power of surrender, not giving up, but giving over, handing your burdens to God. His comfort is the strength that comes when you let go, trusting that He's got you, that His plan is bigger than your pain. You've been in the fire, but you're not burned. Like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you've walked through flames and come out untouched because God is with you. His comfort is the fourth man in the fire, protecting you, guiding you, and making you a testimony of His power. Your tiredness has been a journey, not a destination. Each step through exhaustion has been a step toward transformation. God's comfort is the map, showing you that every struggle is leading you to a place of rest, renewal, and radiant purpose. You've been carrying a load that feels too heavy, but God's comfort is like a yoke that's easy and light. Matthew 11:30 says, "My yoke is easy and my burden is light." He's not adding to your weight, he's taking it, replacing it with a peace that carries you forward. Your heart might feel battle-scarred, but God's comfort is the balm that heals. He's not just soothing your wounds, he's turning them into badges of honor, proof of your resilience. You're not just surviving, you're becoming a warrior, chosen for a divine mission. You've been tired, but you've also been faithful. Every prayer, every tear, every moment of trust has been seen by God. His comfort is the reward for your steadfastness, a promise that your faithfulness is about to bloom into a season of abundance. Your tiredness has been a refining fire, burning away what doesn't belong. God's comfort is the cool breeze that follows, bringing relief and clarity. You're not just being restored, you're being remade, stronger, brighter, ready for the purpose He's prepared. You've been walking through a valley, but God's comfort is the guide leading you out. Psalm 23:4 says, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." His comfort is your strength, turning your valley into a path to victory. Your tiredness has been a crucible, forging you into someone who can carry God's light. His comfort is the fuel for that light, making it shine brighter than ever. You're not just chosen, you're a beacon, illuminating the world with His love and power. You've been stretched thin, but God's comfort is knitting you back together. Like a weaver at a loom, He's creating something beautiful from your struggles. Your tiredness is the thread, and His comfort is the pattern, crafting a life of purpose and glory. Your journey through tiredness has been a pilgrimage, a sacred walk toward God's heart. His comfort is the destination, not an end, but a new beginning. You're not just surviving, you're stepping into a season where your faith shines as a testimony to His faithfulness. Your tiredness has been a forge, chosen one, where God is shaping you into a vessel of His glory. Each moment of weariness has been a hammer strike, molding your character into something unbreakable. His comfort is the fire's warmth, not burning but refining, turning your struggles into a strength that shines like polished steel in the world that needs your light. Imagine a river carving a canyon through stone. The process is slow, relentless, but it creates something majestic. Your tiredness is that river, cutting through the hard places in your life. God's comfort is the current, guiding you forward, shaping your path into a masterpiece of purpose and beauty that others will stand in awe of. You've been standing in the gap, holding space for hope when despair felt closer. God sees that sacrifice. His comfort is like a builder's hands, reinforcing the foundation of your faith. Psalm 18:2 says, "The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. His comfort is your stronghold, steadying you when the ground beneath you shakes." Your exhaustion has been a classroom, teaching you truths most never learn. You've discovered the power of perseverance, the strength in stillness, the courage in continuing. God's comfort is the teacher, guiding you to wisdom that transforms not just your life, but the lives of those who cross your path. Sometimes, tiredness feels like a shadow that won't lift, but God's comfort is the sunlight breaking through, scattering the darkness. He's not asking you to pretend the shadow isn't there. He's showing you how to walk through it, with His light guiding every step, revealing a path to peace and purpose. You've been carrying dreams that feel too heavy to hold. God's comfort is like a partner lifting the other end, making the load feel lighter. He's not taking your dreams away. He's strengthening you to carry them, to bring them to life in ways that will astonish even you. Your tiredness has been a mirror, reflecting your resilience. Every time you've pushed through, you've seen a glimpse of the warrior God created you to be. His comfort is the clarity in that mirror, showing you not just who you are, but who you're becoming, a force of faith, unstoppable in His power. The world might see your weariness and offer pity, but God offers power. His comfort is like a charger, rekindling the spark in your soul. You're not just recharging, you're being rewired for a purpose that will light up the darkness around you, drawing others to His truth. You've been navigating a maze, each turn feeling like a test of endurance. God's comfort is the map, revealing that every twist was leading you closer to Him. You're not lost. You're being led to a destination where your tiredness becomes a testimony of His faithfulness. Your heart might feel bruised from the weight of the world, but God's comfort is like a healer's touch, mending what's been hurt. He's not just patching you up. He's restoring you to a wholeness that radiates His love, making you a beacon for those still searching. You've been sowing seeds in tears, planting faith in the midst of exhaustion. Psalm 126:5 promises, "Those who sow with tears will reap with songs of joy." God's comfort is the harvest, turning your tears into a symphony of victory that echoes through your life and beyond. Your tiredness has been a crucible, purifying your purpose. God's comfort is the gold that emerges, shining with a value the world can't measure. You're not just surviving, you're being crafted into a treasure, a living proof of His power to transform pain into glory. You've been climbing a mountain, each step heavier than the last. God's comfort is the view from the peak, showing you how far you've come. You're not just climbing, you're conquering, and the summit is closer than you think, with His strength lifting you higher. Your struggles have been a forge, but God's comfort is the fire that tempers you, like a sword made stronger by heat. Your tiredness is shaping you into a weapon of faith, sharp and unyielding, ready to cut through doubt and fear with His truth. You've been walking through a wilderness, but God's comfort is the oasis waiting just beyond the horizon. He's not asking of you to ignore the desert. He's showing you the springs of living water that will refresh your soul and lead you to a land of abundance. Your tiredness has been a battle cry, a declaration that you won't give up. God's comfort is the victory song, rising in your heart, proclaiming that you're not just fighting, you're winning, with His strength as your banner and His love as your shield. You've been holding on to promises that feel delayed, but God's comfort is the assurance that His timing is perfect. Like Abraham waiting for Isaac, your faithfulness is about to birth something miraculous. Your tiredness is the labor before the promise comes to life. The world might see your exhaustion and call it failure, but God calls it preparation. His comfort is like a coach's voice, urging you to keep going because the race is almost won. You're not just running, you're sprinting toward a finish line of divine purpose. You've been carrying a flame through the storm, guarding it against the wind. God's comfort is the fuel that keeps it burning, brighter and stronger with each step. You're not just protecting that flame, you're becoming a fire that lights up the darkness. Your tiredness has been a teacher of trust, showing you to rely on God when your strength runs out. His comfort is the lesson, etched into your soul, that His power is enough. You're not just learning, you're living a faith that moves mountains. You've been standing in the rain, soaked by life's challenges. God's comfort is the shelter, not stopping the rain but keeping you safe within it. You're not just weathering the storm, you're being shaped into someone who thrives no matter the weather. Your heart might feel heavy with unspoken burdens, but God's comfort is like a listener who hears every word you don't say. He's not asking you to carry it alone. He's taking the weight, turning your silence into a song of hope that resonates with His love. You've been forging a path where none existed, cutting through thorns of doubt and fear. God's comfort is the strength in your hands, the courage in your steps. You're not just blazing a trail, you're creating a highway for others to follow, lit by His glory. Your tiredness has been a refining process, stripping away what doesn't serve His purpose. God's comfort is the purity that remains, a clarity that shines through you. You're not just being cleansed, you're becoming a vessel of His light, radiant and unstoppable. You've been wrestling with questions that have no easy answers. God's comfort is the peace that doesn't need explanations, only trust. Like Job, who faced loss but found God's presence, you're discovering that His comfort is enough to carry you through. Your struggles have been a canvas, and God's comfort is the brush, painting a story of redemption. Each moment of tiredness is a stroke, creating a picture of faith that will inspire others. You're not just enduring, you're becoming a masterpiece of His grace. You've been walking a tightrope, balancing faith and fear. God's comfort is the net beneath you, catching you when you waver. You're not just surviving the balance, you're learning to walk with confidence. Knowing His love holds you steady. Your tiredness has been a journey through the night, but God's comfort is the dawn breaking on the horizon. You're not just waiting for light, you're stepping into it, with His promise illuminating a path of joy, strength, and divine purpose. Your tiredness has been a crucible, chosen one, where God is forging a heart that beats with His purpose. Each moment of exhaustion has been a flame, refining your spirit into something pure and unshakable. His comfort is the cool breath that soothes the heat, reminding you that you're not being consumed. You're being transformed into a vessel that carries His light into the darkest places. Picture a sculptor chipping away at a rough stone. Every strike feels jarring, but it's revealing the masterpiece within. Your tiredness is those strikes, and God's comfort is the artist's vision, guiding each cut to unveil the beauty He's always seen in you. You're not just enduring, you're becoming a work of art, crafted for His glory. You've been holding on to faith in a world that tests it daily. God's comfort is like an anchor, keeping you steady when the waves of doubt crash in. Psalm 62:6 says, "He alone is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I will not be shaken." His comfort is your stability, grounding you in a truth stronger than any storm. Your weariness has been a lens, sharpening your ability to see God's hand in the smallest moments. The kindness of a stranger, the strength to get through one more day, these are His fingerprints. His comfort is the clarity that turns fleeting moments into eternal promises, showing you He's been with you all along. Sometimes, tiredness feels like a wall, blocking your path forward, but God's comfort is the door He's carved into that wall, inviting you to step through. You're not stuck, you're being led to a new chapter, where your struggles become stepping stones to a life of purpose and joy. You've been carrying a heart full of dreams, even when exhaustion made them feel distant. God's comfort is like a gardener, tending those dreams with care. He's not letting them wither, He's nurturing them, preparing them to bloom in a season that's closer than you realize. Your tiredness has been a battleground where you've fought against despair and won. God's comfort is the victory flag waving over your life, proclaiming that you're not just surviving, you're conquering. Each step through weariness is a triumph, a testament to His strength in you. The world might look at your tiredness and see weakness, but God sees a canvas for His power. His comfort is the paint, transforming your struggles into a story of redemption. You're not just carrying pain, you're carrying a testimony that will inspire others to trust in Him. You've been navigating a fog, where every step feels uncertain. God's comfort is the light piercing through, guiding you to solid ground. He's not asking you to see the whole path, just to trust the next step. You're not lost, you're being led to a place of clarity and purpose. Your tiredness has been a teacher of surrender, showing you the power of letting go. Not giving up, but giving over to God's plan. His comfort is the freedom that comes when you release control, trusting that His hands are stronger, His vision clearer, His love deeper. You've been standing against winds that tried to knock you down. God's comfort is the shelter, not stopping the wind but giving you strength to stand firm. You're not just weathering the storm, you're becoming a pillar, unshaken by the chaos around you. Your heart might feel heavy with battles fought in silence, but God's comfort is the melody that lifts it. Like a song that soothes a weary soul, His presence is turning your pain into praise. You're not just surviving, you're singing a victory song that echoes His faithfulness. You've been walking a path where every step tested your resolve. God's comfort is the strength in your legs, the courage in your heart. You're not just moving forward, you're blazing a trail, leaving a legacy of faith for others to follow. Your tiredness has been a cocoon, wrapping you in struggle to prepare you for transformation. God's comfort is the moment you break free, wings ready to soar. You're not just emerging, you're flying into a season where your purpose shines brighter than ever. You've been carrying questions that weigh as much as your exhaustion. Why this struggle? Why now? God's comfort is the peace that doesn't need answers, only trust. Like Daniel in the lion's den, you're finding safety in His presence, even when the world feels dangerous. Your struggles have been a forge, shaping you into someone who can carry God's light. His comfort is the fuel, keeping that light burning bright. You're not just holding on, you're becoming a beacon, illuminating the path for others who are lost in their own weariness. You've been running a race with obstacles at every turn. God's comfort is the strength to leap over them, the endurance to keep going. You're not just running, you're racing toward a finish line where victory is already yours, sealed by His promise. The world might see your tiredness as a burden, but God sees it as a bridge. Each moment of exhaustion has been a plank, connecting you to a deeper faith. His comfort is the path across that bridge, leading you to a land of rest and abundance. You've been holding space for others, even when your own strength felt low. God's comfort is the reservoir, refilling you with more than you've poured out. You're not just giving, you're becoming a fountain, overflowing with His love and grace. Your tiredness has been a classroom, teaching you the power of resilience. God's comfort is the lesson, written on your heart, that you're stronger than you know. You're not just learning, you're living a faith that transforms every challenge into an opportunity. You've been standing in the fire, but God's comfort is the shield that protects you. Like the 3 men in the furnace, you're walking through flames unharmed because He's with you. You're not just surviving, you're becoming a testimony of His power. Your heart might feel stretched by the weight of unseen battles, but God's comfort is the thread that holds it together. He's not just mending you, He's weaving a story of triumph, where every struggle becomes a chapter of His faithfulness. You've been walking through a desert, thirsting for relief. God's comfort is the spring that breaks through the sand, quenching your soul. You're not just finding water, you're discovering a source of life that will sustain you for the journey ahead. Your tiredness has been a refining process, burning away doubt and fear. God's comfort is the gold that remains, pure and radiant. You're not just being cleansed, you're becoming a treasure, reflecting His glory in a world that needs His light. You've been carrying a load that feels too heavy, but God's comfort is the strength to set it down. He's not asking you to carry it forever, He's teaching you to trust Him to bear it. You're not just lightening your load, you're stepping into freedom. Your struggles have been a canvas, and God's comfort is the artist, painting a picture of hope. Each moment of tiredness is a brushstroke, creating a story of redemption. You're not just enduring, you're becoming a masterpiece crafted by His hands. You've been navigating a storm, but God's comfort is the compass pointing you to calm waters. You're not just surviving the waves, you're learning to sail, guided by His promise to a destination of peace and purpose. Your tiredness has been a journey through the night, but God's comfort is the dawn breaking through. You're not just waiting for light, you're stepping into it, with His love illuminating a path where every step is filled with His strength. Your tiredness has been a battlefield, chosen one, where you've fought wars no one else could see. Each moment of exhaustion has been a clash against doubt, fear, and despair. God's comfort is your victory, the strength that declares you've already won. You're not just surviving these battles, you're emerging as a warrior, armed with His peace and ready to conquer any challenge. Picture a tree standing tall through a storm, its roots gripping the earth while the winds howl. Your tiredness is that storm, testing your strength, but God's comfort is the deep roots holding you firm. You're not just weathering the gale, you're growing stronger, your branches reaching higher, bearing fruit that testifies to His faithfulness. You've been carrying a heart that feels the weight of the world's pain. God's comfort is like a listener, hearing every unspoken ache. He's not asking you to hide your hurt, He's healing it, turning your sorrow into a song of hope. You're not just feeling, you're becoming a vessel of His compassion, touching lives with His love. Your weariness has been a journey through a tunnel, dark and narrow. God's comfort is the light at the end, growing brighter with each step. Psalm 27:1 says, "The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear?" You're not just walking through darkness, you're stepping into a radiance that will guide others to His truth. Sometimes, tiredness feels like a chain around your ankles, slowing your every move. But God's comfort is the key, unlocking your freedom. He's not just breaking the chains, He's teaching you to dance, to move with a joy that defies your struggles. You're not just freed, you're soaring, lifted by His grace. You've been planting seeds in a field that feels barren, trusting for a harvest you can't yet see. God's comfort is the rain, nourishing those seeds in secret. You're not just waiting, you're cultivating a future where your faith blooms into blessings that will astonish you and those around you. Your tiredness has been a crucible, melting away what doesn't belong. God's comfort is the mold, shaping you into something new. You're not just being refined, you're being crafted into a masterpiece, a living testament to His power to transform pain into purpose. The world might see your exhaustion and offer quick fixes, but God offers eternal strength. His comfort is like a riverbed, channeling His power through your life. You're not just getting by, you're becoming a conduit of His grace, flowing with life that refreshes others. You've been standing at a crossroads, wondering which path to take. God's comfort is the signpost, pointing you to His plan. He's not leaving you to guess, He's guiding you with a clarity that cuts through your weariness. You're not just choosing, you're being led to a destiny of divine purpose. Your heart might feel stretched by the demands of life, but God's comfort is the thread that holds it together. Like a weaver crafting a tapestry, He's turning your struggles into a story of triumph. You're not just holding on, you're becoming a work of art, woven with His love. You've been walking a path where every step feels heavy with unseen burdens. God's comfort is the hand lifting those weights, one by one. You're not just lightening your load, you're discovering a strength that lets you carry His purpose with ease and confidence. Your tiredness has been a teacher, showing you the power of persistence. Each moment you've kept going has built a resilience that nothing can shake. God's comfort is the reward, filling you with a peace that makes every struggle worth it. You're not just enduring, you're thriving. You've been navigating a maze of challenges, each turn testing your faith. God's comfort is the map, revealing the way forward. You're not just finding your way, you're blazing a trail, showing others how to trust God through their own twists and turns. Your struggles have been a fire, burning away doubt and fear. God's comfort is the cool water, soothing what's been scorched. You're not just healing, you're becoming a fountain of His grace, pouring out hope to a world that's parched for His truth. You've been holding on to promises that feel distant, but God's comfort is the bridge bringing them closer. Like Noah waiting for dry land, your faith is about to meet its fulfillment. You're not just hoping, you're stepping into a season where His promises come to life. The world might see your tiredness as a sign to slow down, but God sees it as a call to rise up. His comfort is the wind beneath your wings, lifting you higher than you thought possible. You're not just resting, you're soaring, carried by His strength. You've been carrying a vision that feels too big for your weary heart. God's comfort is the assurance that He's bigger than your vision. He's not asking you to shrink your dreams. He's expanding your capacity to carry them. You're not just dreaming, you're building His kingdom. Your tiredness has been a canvas, painted with the colors of perseverance. God's comfort is the artist, turning your struggles into a picture of hope. You're not just surviving, you're creating a story that will inspire others to trust in His faithfulness. You've been standing in the rain, soaked by life's challenges. God's comfort is the umbrella shielding you from the downpour. You're not just getting through, you're learning to dance in the rain with His joy as your rhythm and His love as your song. Your heart might feel worn from carrying others' burdens, but God's comfort is the strength to keep loving. Like the Good Samaritan, you've stopped to help even when you were tired. You're not just giving, you're becoming a reflection of His selfless love. You've been walking through a valley, but God's comfort is the guide leading you upward. He's not leaving you in the shadows, He's showing you the peaks. You're not just climbing, you're conquering, with His strength as your foundation and His promise as your goal. Your tiredness has been a refining fire, purifying your faith. God's comfort is the gold that shines through, radiant and unbreakable. You're not just being tested, you're being polished, ready to reflect His glory in a world that needs His light. You've been holding on to faith through nights that felt endless. God's comfort is the dawn, breaking through with hope. You're not just waiting for morning, you're stepping into it, with His peace lighting a path to a future of purpose and joy. Your struggles have been a forge, shaping you into a weapon of faith. God's comfort is the edge, sharpening you for His purpose. You're not just fighting, you're winning, with His power cutting through every obstacle in your path. You've been carrying a heart full of questions, but God's comfort is the answer that doesn't need words. Like Mary at the tomb, you're finding His presence in your confusion. You're not just seeking, you're discovering a truth that transforms everything. Your tiredness has been a journey through the wilderness, but God's comfort is the manna, sustaining you daily. You're not just surviving, you're being nourished for a promised land where your faith will bloom into a legacy of His faithfulness. You've been standing against winds of doubt, but God's comfort is the anchor keeping you steady. You're not just holding on, you're becoming a pillar, unshaken by the storms, a testament to His power to hold you through anything. Your heart might feel heavy with unseen battles, but God's comfort is the light that reveals your victory. You're not just fighting, you're triumphing, with His love as your sword and His peace as your shield, ready for the purpose He's prepared. Your tiredness has been a crucible, chosen one, where God is forging a spirit that shines with His strength. Each moment of exhaustion has been a spark, igniting your resilience. His comfort is the steady flame, not consuming but refining, turning your weariness into a fire that lights the way for others in darkness. Imagine a potter shaping clay on the wheel, each turn smoothing the rough edges. Your tiredness is that clay, pressed and molded by life's challenges. God's comfort is the potter's hands, guiding every movement to create a vessel of purpose. You're not just being shaped, you're becoming a masterpiece, ready to hold His glory. You've been carrying a heart that feels the weight of unspoken dreams. God's comfort is like a keeper of those dreams, guarding them until the time is right. He's not letting them fade. He's preparing them to bloom. You're not just waiting, you're nurturing a future where His promises come to life. Your struggles have been a desert, dry and unyielding. God's comfort is the oasis, springing up where you least expect it. Isaiah 35:1 says, "The desert and the parched land will be glad. The wilderness will rejoice and blossom." You're not just surviving, you're blossoming, with His provision turning barren places into beauty. Sometimes tiredness feels like a fog, clouding your vision of what's ahead. But God's comfort is the breeze that clears it, revealing a path of hope. You're not just groping in the dark, you're stepping into clarity, with His light showing you the way to a purpose-filled future. You've been holding on to faith through storms that threaten to break you. God's comfort is the harbor, offering shelter from the waves. You're not just weathering the tempest, you're finding peace, anchored by His promise that no storm can overcome His plan for you. Your tiredness has been a teacher, showing you the strength in vulnerability. Each moment you've admitted your weariness has been a lesson in trust. God's comfort is the wisdom gained, turning your weakness into a testimony. You're not just learning, you're living a faith that inspires others. The world might see your exhaustion and offer empty solutions, but God offers eternal renewal. His comfort is like a wellspring, bubbling up within you. You're not just getting by, you're overflowing, with His strength pouring out to refresh those around you. You've been navigating a path where every step feels heavy with doubt. God's comfort is the guide, steadying your feet. You're not just stumbling, you're walking with purpose, with His hand leading you to a destination where your faith shines as a beacon. Your heart might feel worn from carrying others' pain, but God's comfort is the balm that heals. He's not just soothing your wounds, He's turning them into sources of compassion. You're not just hurting, you're becoming a healer, reflecting His love to a broken world. You've been sowing faith in a field of uncertainty, trusting for a harvest you can't see. God's comfort is the sunlight, warming the soil where your seeds are planted. You're not just hoping, you're cultivating a future where His blessings will overflow in your life. Your tiredness has been a canvas, painted with the colors of endurance. God's comfort is the artist, crafting a story of triumph. You're not just surviving, you're creating a legacy, a picture of faith that will inspire generations to trust in His power. You've been standing in the fire of trials, but God's comfort is the shield that protects you. Like Daniel's friends in the furnace, you're untouched by the flames because He's with you. You're not just enduring, you're emerging as a testimony of His unshakable presence. Your struggles have been a journey through a wilderness, but God's comfort is the manna falling from heaven. You're not just hungry, you're being fed, sustained by His provision for a purpose that will shine brighter than your darkest days. You've been carrying a vision that feels too big for your weary soul. God's comfort is the strength to hold it high. He's not asking you to shrink your dreams, He's expanding your heart to carry them. You're not just dreaming, you're building a future aligned with His will. Your tiredness has been a battle, but God's comfort is the victory cry. Each moment you've pushed through has been a strike against despair. You're not just fighting, you're winning, with His peace as your banner and His love as your weapon. You've been walking a narrow path where every step tests your resolve. God's comfort is the light that keeps you steady. You're not just moving forward, you're forging a trail, showing others how to walk with faith through their own challenges. Your heart might feel heavy with questions unanswered, but God's comfort is the peace that quiets them. Like Hannah praying for a child, your cries are heard, and His answer is coming. You're not just waiting, you're stepping into a season of fulfilled promises. You've been standing against winds of doubt, but God's comfort is the rock beneath your feet. You're not just holding on, you're unmovable. A pillar of faith that stands firm because His strength is your foundation. Your tiredness has been a crucible, refining your spirit for His purpose. God's comfort is the gold that emerges, shining with His glory. You're not just being tested, you're being polished, ready to reflect His light in a world that needs it. You've been carrying burdens that feel too heavy to bear, but God's comfort is the hand lifting them. He's not asking you to carry them alone. He's taking the weight. You're not just lightening your load, you're stepping into freedom, ready for His plan. Your struggles have been a canvas, and God's comfort is the brush, painting a story of hope. Each moment of tiredness is a stroke, creating a picture of redemption. You're not just enduring, you're becoming a masterpiece, crafted by His love. You've been navigating a storm, but God's comfort is the calm at its center. You're not just surviving the waves, you're learning to sail, guided by His promise to a harbor of peace and purpose. Your tiredness has been a teacher, showing you the power of trust. God's comfort is the lesson, written on your heart, that His strength is enough. You're not just learning, you're living a faith that transforms every challenge into victory. You've been standing in the rain, soaked by life's trials. God's comfort is the shelter, keeping you safe. You're not just getting through, you're dancing in the rain, with His joy as your rhythm and His love as your song. Your heart might feel stretched by unseen battles, but God's comfort is the thread holding it together. He's not just mending you, He's weaving a story of triumph. You're not just fighting, you're becoming a testimony, shining with His grace. You've been walking through a valley, but God's comfort is the guide leading you out. You're not just climbing, you're conquering, with His strength as your foundation and His promise as your goal. Your tiredness has been a forge, shaping you into a weapon of faith. God's comfort is the edge, sharpening you for His purpose. You're not just surviving, you're cutting through doubt and fear, ready to fulfill His plan. Your tiredness has been a forge, chosen one, where God is crafting a spirit that radiates His power. Each moment of exhaustion has been a spark, tempering your resolve into something unbreakable. His comfort is the steady heat, not burning but strengthening, turning your struggles into a flame that guides others through their darkness. Picture a river smoothing stones over centuries, each wave shaping them into something polished and strong. Your tiredness is those waves, wearing down the rough edges of your soul. God's comfort is the current, guiding each movement to reveal the beauty within you. You're not just being worn, you're being refined, ready to shine with His purpose. You've been carrying a heart that feels the weight of unseen battles. God's comfort is like a warrior's shield, guarding you from despair. Psalm 28:7 says, "The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in Him, and He helps me." You're not just defending, you're advancing, with His protection leading you to victory. Your weariness has been a classroom, teaching you the power of persistence. Each step through exhaustion has shown you what faith can endure. God's comfort is the wisdom gained, turning your trials into lessons of resilience. You're not just learning, you're becoming a teacher, showing others how to stand firm. Sometimes, tiredness feels like a veil, dimming your hope. But God's comfort is the hand lifting that veil, revealing a future bright with promise. You're not just peering through shadows, you're stepping into light, with His guidance illuminating a path of purpose and peace. You've been holding on to dreams that feel heavy in your weary hands. God's comfort is the strength to carry them, the assurance they're not too big. He's not asking you to let go. He's empowering you to bring them to life. You're not just dreaming, you're building a legacy of His faithfulness. Your tiredness has been a crucible, purifying your spirit for His calling. God's comfort is the clarity that emerges, shining through your struggles. You're not just being tested, you're being prepared, a vessel ready to pour out His love to a world in need. The world might see your exhaustion and offer fleeting relief, but God offers eternal renewal. His comfort is like a spring, bubbling up with life. You're not just surviving, you're overflowing, with His strength refreshing those who cross your path. You've been navigating a storm, each wave testing your resolve. God's comfort is the anchor, keeping you steady. You're not just riding out the tempest, you're learning to sail, with His guidance leading you to a harbor of peace and purpose. Your heart might feel scarred from battles fought in silence, but God's comfort is the balm that heals. He's not just soothing your pain, He's turning your wounds into wisdom. You're not just hurting, you're becoming a healer, reflecting His compassion to others. You've been sowing faith in a field that feels barren, trusting for a harvest unseen. God's comfort is the sunlight, warming the soil where your seeds are planted. You're not just waiting, you're cultivating a future where His blessings will bloom beyond your imagination. Your tiredness has been a canvas, painted with the strokes of endurance. God's comfort is the artist, crafting a story of redemption. You're not just enduring, you're creating a masterpiece, a testimony of His power that will inspire generations. You've been standing in the fire, but God's comfort is the shield that protects you. Like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you're untouched by the flames because He's with you. You're not just surviving, you're emerging as a beacon of His unshakable presence. Your struggles have been a wilderness, but God's comfort is the manna sustaining you. You're not just hungry, you're being fed, nourished by His provision for a journey that leads to a promised land of purpose and joy. You've been carrying a vision that feels too heavy for your weary soul. God's comfort is the strength to lift it high. He's not asking you to shrink your dreams. He's expanding your heart to carry them. You're not just hoping, you're building His kingdom with every step. Your tiredness has been a battle, but God's comfort is the victory cry. Each moment you've pushed through has been a strike against despair. You're not just fighting, you're triumphing, with His peace as your banner and His love as your sword. You've been walking a path where every step feels heavy with doubt. God's comfort is the guide, steadying your feet. You're not just moving forward, you're forging a trail, showing others how to trust through their own challenges. Your heart might feel stretched by unanswered prayers, but God's comfort is the peace that holds you steady. Like Hannah, who wept for a child, your cries are heard, and His answer is coming. You're not just waiting, you're stepping into a season of fulfilled promises. You've been standing against winds of fear, but God's comfort is the rock beneath you. You're not just holding on, you're unmovable, a pillar of faith that stands firm because His strength is your foundation. Your tiredness has been a refining fire, purifying your purpose. God's comfort is the gold that shines through, radiant and unbreakable. You're not just being tested, you're being polished, ready to reflect His glory in a world that needs His light. You've been carrying burdens that feel too heavy, but God's comfort is the hand lifting them. He's not asking you to carry them alone. He's taking the weight. You're not just lightening your load, you're stepping into freedom, ready for His plan. Your struggles have been a canvas, and God's comfort is the brush, painting a story of hope. Each moment of tiredness is a stroke, creating a picture of redemption. You're not just enduring, you're becoming a masterpiece, crafted by His love. You've been navigating a storm, but God's comfort is the calm at its center. You're not just surviving the waves, you're learning to sail, guided by His promise to a harbor of peace and purpose. Your tiredness has been a teacher, showing you the power of trust. God's comfort is the lesson written on your heart, that His strength is enough. You're not just learning, you're living a faith that transforms every challenge into victory. You've been standing in the rain, soaked by life's trials. God's comfort is the shelter, keeping you safe. You're not just getting through, you're dancing in the rain, with His joy as your rhythm and His love as your song. Your heart might feel worn from unseen battles, but God's comfort is the thread holding it together. He's not just mending you, He's weaving a story of triumph. You're not just fighting, you're becoming a testimony, shining with His grace. You've been walking through a valley, but God's comfort is the guide leading you out. You're not just climbing, you're conquering, with His strength as your foundation and His promise as your goal. Your tiredness has been a forge, shaping you into a weapon of faith. God's comfort is the edge, sharpening you for His purpose. You're not just surviving, you're cutting through doubt and fear, ready to fulfill His plan. Your tiredness has been a crucible, chosen one, where God is forging a heart that pulses with His purpose. Each moment of exhaustion has been a spark, igniting a fire of resilience within you. His comfort is the gentle glow, not consuming but sustaining, turning your weariness into a beacon that lights the path for those lost in their own struggles. Picture a weaver at a loom, threading each strand with care to create a tapestry. Your tiredness is those threads, each one a story of perseverance. God's comfort is the master's hand, weaving your struggles into a pattern of beauty. You're not just being woven, you're becoming a work of art, displaying His glory for all to see. You've been carrying a soul that feels the weight of silent battles. God's comfort is like a guardian, shielding you from despair. Psalm 91:4 says, "He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge." You're not just surviving, you're finding safety, resting in His protection as you step toward victory. Your weariness has been a lens, sharpening your vision to see God's hand in the smallest moments. A kind word, a moment of strength, these are His whispers. His comfort is the clarity that turns fleeting glimpses into eternal truths. You're not just noticing, you're seeing His presence, guiding you to a life of purpose. Sometimes, tiredness feels like a chain, binding your steps, but God's comfort is the key, unlocking your freedom. He's not just breaking the chains, He's teaching you to run with joy. You're not just moving, you're sprinting toward a future where His promises shine bright. You've been holding on to hope through nights that felt endless. God's comfort is the dawn, breaking through with light. You're not just waiting for morning, you're stepping into it, with His peace illuminating a path where every step is filled with His strength. Your tiredness has been a teacher, showing you the power of endurance. Each moment you've pushed through has built a faith that nothing can shake. God's comfort is the lesson etched into your soul, that His strength is enough. You're not just learning, you're living a faith that moves mountains. The world might see your exhaustion and offer empty promises, but God offers eternal renewal. His comfort is like a river, flowing through your life with life-giving power. You're not just getting by, you're overflowing, with His grace refreshing those around you. You've been navigating a path where every turn feels uncertain. God's comfort is the compass, pointing you to His plan. You're not just wandering, you're being led, with His guidance showing you a destiny where your struggles become stepping stones. Your heart might feel bruised from carrying others' pain, but God's comfort is the healing touch. He's not just soothing your wounds, He's turning them into wisdom. You're not just hurting, you're becoming a healer, sharing His compassion with a world in need. You've been sowing seeds of faith in a field that seems barren. God's comfort is the rain, nurturing those seeds in secret. You're not just planting, you're cultivating a harvest where His blessings will bloom, transforming your life and beyond. Your tiredness has been a canvas, painted with the colors of perseverance. God's comfort is the artist, crafting a story of redemption. You're not just enduring, you're creating a legacy, a picture of faith that will inspire others to trust in Him. You've been standing in the fire of trials, but God's comfort is the shield that protects you. Like the 3 men in the furnace, you're untouched by the flames because He's with you. You're not just surviving, you're emerging as a testimony of His power. Your struggles have been a wilderness, but God's comfort is the manna falling daily. You're not just hungry, you're being fed, sustained by His provision for a journey that leads to a promised land of purpose and joy. You've been carrying a vision that feels too big for your weary heart. God's comfort is the strength to hold it high. He's not asking you to shrink your dreams, He's expanding your capacity to carry them. You're not just hoping, you're building His kingdom. Your tiredness has been a battle, but God's comfort is the victory cry. Each moment you've pushed through has been a strike against despair. You're not just fighting, you're triumphing, with His peace as your banner and His love as your weapon. You've been walking a path where every step tests your resolve. God's comfort is the light that keeps you steady. You're not just moving forward, you're forging a trail, showing others how to walk with faith through their own challenges. Your heart might feel heavy with unanswered prayers, but God's comfort is the peace that holds you steady. Like Sarah, who waited for a child, your faith is about to birth a miracle. You're not just waiting, you're stepping into a season of fulfilled promises. You've been standing against winds of doubt, but God's comfort is the rock beneath you. You're not just holding on, you're unmovable, a pillar of faith that stands firm because His strength is your foundation. Your tiredness has been a refining fire, purifying your purpose. God's comfort is the gold that shines through, radiant and unbreakable. You're not just being tested, you're being polished, ready to reflect His glory in a world that needs His light. You've been carrying burdens that feel too heavy, but God's comfort is the hand lifting them. He's not asking you to carry them alone. He's taking the weight. You're not just lightening your load, you're stepping into freedom, ready for His plan. Your struggles have been a canvas, and God's comfort is the brush, painting a story of hope. Each moment of tiredness is a stroke, creating a picture of redemption. You're not just enduring, you're becoming a masterpiece, crafted by His love. You've been navigating a storm, but God's comfort is the calm at its center. You're not just surviving the waves, you're learning to sail, guided by His promise to a harbor of peace and purpose. Your tiredness has been a teacher, showing you the power of trust. God's comfort is the lesson written on your heart, that His strength is enough. You're not just learning, you're living a faith that transforms every challenge into victory. You've been standing in the rain, soaked by life's trials. God's comfort is the shelter, keeping you safe. You're not just getting through, you're dancing in the rain, with His joy as your rhythm and His love as your song. Your heart might feel worn from unseen battles, but God's comfort is the thread holding it together. He's not just mending you, He's weaving a story of triumph. You're not just fighting, you're becoming a testimony, shining with His grace. You've been walking through a valley, but God's comfort is the guide leading you out. You're not just climbing, you're conquering, with His strength as your foundation and His promise as your goal. Your tiredness has been a forge, shaping you into a weapon of faith. God's comfort is the edge, sharpening you for His purpose. You're not just surviving, you're cutting through doubt and fear, ready to fulfill His plan.